This podcast will hopefully contain words or statements of obscene, pornographic, or immoral character. You have been warned. You have been warned.
Received dozens of emails from people that will listen to the podcast. The podcast.
Wow,
The
well, it is
podcast.
pretty much.
Well, holy fuck. We've returned.
Well. We are back.
Dun, dun, dun.
Original dynamic duo. After, I don't know how long it's been. It's been like, what, 6-week hiatus for me, I think.
Yeah, 6 week and a 3 week for me.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
were killing it, though, those first couple weeks.
So the combo of Gene and Fred is just, they just roll. They just blah, 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 blah.
No, it's
blah,
great.
blah,
I was
blah.
going to say
No.
I'm like torn about coming back because
Oh,
I love doing the podcast, but I think we talked about this before in the past too. I equally enjoy listening to it when I'm not on. So, I had like a bunch of shit going on the last month and a half, and it was actually like nice to have the podcast to listen to because for one thing, I think the biggest takeaway for me from the 3 podcasts you guys did was the fact that I don't know, it's weird. Like I never even really thought about it before, and maybe this shows like how not good of a friend I am or something, but I realized that like I've known Fred for like 30 years now, and I like learned more about Fred in that podcast than I've like known about him the whole time that I've known him. And I'm like, am I a shitty friend, or is it just like that was information that just wasn't necessarily significant to ask about, but just like, yeah, his childhood and stuff, and like kind of where he grew up, and I don't know, like I really enjoyed that episode a lot.
it was interesting because I knew like probably 50% of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean we've hung out for a long time, and like we brewed beer, so I'd go over to his house, and
Mm-hmm.
so I would see some of the interaction. That's funny, the whole Baroque music or whatever, that shit made me laugh.
Yeah.
But it was just, yeah, I think it was cool because Gene asked just stuff that I wouldn't think about, and I don't think you're a shitty friend. Well, that could be argued, but I think what it is it's stuff that you don't think about, and like the the situations we are in most of the time isn't one of those like laid back hanging out. I guess when we drove to New York and shit like that, but
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
I think you're right. Yeah.
it was like we were engaged and we were doing shit, like it was band practice, or we were going to the show, so there was always.
Yeah, it was like always. It was more like we were taking care of business at hand, and it wasn't
Yes.
like necessarily like we're just getting together for like a beer, even though we did do those things. I don't know, and like honestly, like maybe to defend myself a little bit against this, I just feel that like it's really easy to get to know Fred and feel comfortable around him. So it's almost like it's a little bit of like you just sort of like know him. He's like easy to become friends with. So maybe there's not even like a need to delve into the specifics of his past or whatever.
No, I totally, I agree. I mean, but like I don't ask that shit of anybody. I don't know if I like, that's not ever my mindset. I have like Gene's perspective is completely different because I would never even think to ask about shit like that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not the interviewer.
I mean, I feel like I'm typically normally like that too. So that's kind of.
You are nosy Nora.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more of just like genuine curiosity about like getting to know people that I like. So I think that's why when I learned all those things about Fred that I didn't know, they like kind of hit a little harder. Like, this is all shit that like I should have known already. Like, how did I not know this stuff about him? Like, I kind of suck. So sorry, Fred. I love you, dude.
Oh my God. And so that was just one fucking episode that I had to cut into 3.
Oh,
Like
that was all one episode.
That was one episode.
Oh,
My
shit.
fucking, like at the end, and you know, we've done this more times than not. You get like halfway through the podcast, and then you hit a fucking cherry, and fucking it runs, and you're like, "Fuck, this is so much better." Or we'll start talking after we're done, and the conversation after is so much more interesting than what the hell, you know, you talked about on the podcast. And that is totally what happened. Like,
that happens a lot too, actually.
Yeah, you guys have no clue. Like, there's a lot of shit that just gets thrown on the floor because we quit. It's not that we quit, but it's like, when we wrap up the episode, and then all of a sudden it's like, you will go back and kind of rehash something or expand upon something that we should have at the time, but just as brains process, we don't hit it all first time.
And then there's also the probably 10 potential episodes that could be put together by conversations we've had after we said the podcast was over that we would never be allowed to put on the podcast.
That is true too. So there was some magical editing, and luckily for me, I stutter and forget a lot. So we had all the numbers in, like they were all done, like the episode numbers, just because like I fucked up one time and said wrong episode number, and I was able to like cut paste, bring it around. So yeah, we just honestly though, we went, I think we went 3.5 hours. Like, we still dumped. I still dumped a lot of shit. But those are awesome conversations though, and it's good. And I think it's very helpful because Gene's very inquisitive about shit that I don't pay attention to, you know?
Well, so while we're talking about Gene, I would like to mention something that was on one of those particular episodes that I'm calling bullshit on.
Nice.
And that is that I'm sorry. I do not fucking believe for 1 minute that there was a line around the block of people to get Jeff Tate signatures. There was obviously also a model train convention going on in that same building at the same time.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I'm calling complete bullshit on that. And he's gonna defend the shit out of that, but I'm still calling bullshit. There was no way there was people lined up around a fucking city block in Winchester, Virginia to see Jeff Tate.
Well, there's where you got it wrong. It was Leesburg. So.
Leesburg. Gotcha. I stand corrected on that part, but not on people lining up to see Geoff Tate.
Oh my God, that is phenomenal.
See, I did my homework. I was coming in hot to this episode. I was like,
you're
ready.
ready to go. Holy shit. I have no defense, Gene. Write up the response or get ready for an episode.
Yeah.
We need pictures, evidence.
I always feel like Jeff Tate looks like he smells like really bad of cigarettes.
I would assume that he is a very strong vocalist and he would not smoke, but I don't totally be wrong.
Oh yeah. Also, let's bring it back to Fred for a second. I have to give thanks to Violet because she turned me on to this band that I've really been into the last like couple weeks, and the only thing I can even like the word to use to describe this band is they're just like fucking nasty, dude. They're like heavy and just nasty, but the band is called Vermin Womb, which is like the coolest fucking band name, first of all. And they're just like nasty and heavy and aggressive and like pissed. And I was chatting with her a little bit one night, and because on Instagram you can put like put like a little song in your notes or whatever so people can hear songs. She had that on there one night and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I clicked on it and I was like, oh my God, this is so sick. And we were just chatting a little bit about it. And I went and like checked out a bunch of their music and they're fucking cool as fuck. Highly, like if you're into like, they're kind of even hard to describe. It's like, I mean, it's like death metal, I guess, pretty much, but I don't know. You just have to check it out, but it's really cool. So,
All right. Well, I have written it down. I will do it because I am shitty at listening to shit. So I'm gonna give it a whirl. It's funny is old Fred and Violet and Kate and Gavin and I went to watch Decline of Western Civilization Part Uno.
Oh, cool. Like in a theater?
Yeah, it was
Oh, cool.
badass. And it was just a bunch of fucking old punks from like Baltimore, like piling into the theater to watch it. I don't think I've ever watched it the whole way through.
Okay.
Decline 2 I own on the VHSs.
Okay.
So I know that one pretty well. Watched that multiple times, but I don't know. There was something I think when it was on Prime that kept turning me off about it. But this, like, you know, you're kind of locked in at the theater, and it was like, how many times are you gonna get to fucking see that? You know, what was I think it was 79, filmed over like 1979 and 1980. Like, it was cool. It was really cool. I think like there's just really cool takeaways about like looking at them, looking what the scene / pits looked like the fact there wasn't really a lot of uniforms yet. Like everybody just, you know, everybody looked like they walked in off the street.
Yeah.
And they didn't have their, you know, like the dude from the Germs, he had his like punk rock aesthetic started. And you could see like some of the one band had the very strong new wave influence. And actually, like Gavin and I walked away wishing there was more interviews and less music, though with that being said, like Gavin was like vibed, like he's like, I need to get out and start playing again because like the live performances were badass. And they capture, and I don't know how they did it or how she did it. But like those performances captured like an energy that a lot of like the shit you watch on YouTube or stuff now, I guess because it's a single camera shot maybe or whatever, but it like there was such an energy within that filming. Like to watch like that Black Flag.
I was gonna say the Black Flag footage in that movie like literally is what saves that movie, dude.
I'd say that and Fear. Like
yeah. The Fear is good too.
And they are such dickheads. It is fucking phenomenal. And it was amazing to watch like the rigs, like the musical rigs, kind of like as the movie progresses, everybody's equipment's a little bit better. And then fucking Fear rolls out and they've got like, I think like Laney Stacks. And it was like, but I would assume that the record had already came out and they were a little bit more popular. And I think maybe what's even more amazing was I think the hierarchy of bands, if it was done now, would be different. Like totally different.
That's a good call. Yeah, I think you're totally right about that. I think, yeah, I think maybe some of the bands in there that sort of like what we've talked about before in that one episode where just like, why did certain bands become popular and others didn't? I think you nailed it. I think some of the ones that maybe were not as popular would be the popular ones now. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there was a lot. I mean, just thinking, but I mean, like the dude, I can't remember his name, but the French guy in there was fucking phenomenal. Like she could have done the whole movie with that guy and we'd probably been just as happy with it. I can't remember. I know he wrote for Slash, but I can't remember his name. That's not what I do. But I mean, but to see like Black Flag Circle Jerks totally, besides the performance, get blown over. There's no discussion, no talk with them, you know, and it's like got a lot of fucking, and I like X, but they got a lot of fucking screen time. And partway, I was like, the tattoo segment was so horrible. Like there was times in my head where I'm like, cut. I
Yeah.
was like, we don't need to see this shit anymore.
Yeah, it gets a little painful, that whole part.
Yeah, but I mean, as a whole, it was pretty fucking entertaining. It was cool to see it on a big screen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, like just from that aspect, it was totally worth it.
Yeah. Oh fuck. I actually, Flash Gordon's coming up next week. I am so fucking in.
I've never seen that movie.
The Flash Gordon from the 80s with the Queen. Oh Jesus.
Never
Christ.
seen it.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I just for whatever reason never saw it. It's kind of like Conan for me. I don't know. The both
All
those
right, well, it's
movies
not
are
on
like,
the same level as Conan, but that was the movie. Not Conan, but Flash was the movie that my grandfather stopped going to see movies with me.
oh
'Cause it
really?
was such garbage.
Uh
And you know, it basically got a cult following over top of like it just box office wise, it blew nuts, but like it picked up as soon as it was over. Like in the VHS world and everything else, like it picked up steam. Like a lot of awesome shitty movies do.
well, I just learned this the other day that that's kind of what happened with Office Space. It pretty much like flopped at the theaters, and then like it became what it is today because of like DVDs and VHS and stuff. It just like built up a cult following over like a decade, and then yeah, just kind of
Yeah,
like
now it's a fucking
yeah,
iconic movie.
and then the whole thing with the stapler,
Yeah.
like they Swingline didn't make red staplers, and so like apparently that stapler was painted red by a prop guy because Swingline wouldn't. They tried to convince them to make a red stapler, and they like wouldn't do it for them, so they just made their own. And then because of the movie, like they were like forced into starting to make red staplers.
They should be getting a cut of that shit.
Yeah, seriously, they really should, because that would never have happened without that movie.
No, yeah. See, it's fucking crazy.
Well, I want to, for really quick, I want to take it back to, because we mentioned Black Flag, and I saw this thing like a week or two back. I just wanted to see what you thought about this, but Henry Rollins apparently like did some interview or something where he was talking about he would not get I forget the exact quote, but something along the lines of, I would not get back up on stage with any band for any amount of money is basically the gist of what he said. And I'm just like,
something
like, who fucking cares? Like, why, why do we even care that you need to say that?
because he needs to stay relevant within the scene without doing the tours, or which he does. He does a spoken word tour. I did see a part where he had said he didn't want to be like a fucking jukebox.
Yeah.
Like he didn't want to keep playing the hits, which I mean, we've discussed a couple times, just like, does that suck to be fucking Fear? And when I go to see you, I expect to hear fucking pretty much every song off the record.
Yeah. I'm just like, I don't know, man. I feel like I can't figure that dude out, like if I like him or not. Has Rollins always just been pretty insufferable?
I think so.
And we just gave him a pass because he was in Black Flag. But I was like, was he even insufferable back then? And we just didn't know it because he wasn't like running his mouth on the internet all the time.
I think so. I think he's gotten a pass just because of his like lineage and how far he goes back.
Yeah.
He's still active, very active. And you know, he goes back, what is it, SOA? Am I right?
Yeah, SOA.
Like, so, you know, he's been around for a little bit, so I think he gets a fucking pass.
I think what bothers me, and I like whatever, I don't necessarily disagree with things he talks about. Like I think the dude's intelligent, and I think that he has some unique ways of thinking, but bottom line for me, he just like doesn't seem like somebody that'd be like fun to hang out with. Like does he ever have fun?
Yeah, that's a good question. So what was funny is I was so stoked because I actually didn't remember what era a Black Flag was in the fucking movie. I was
Mm-hmm.
so stoked that it was an early pre-Rollins version.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh my, it was so I think it's my favorite version of Black Flag that was in the movie. So I was like happy as a pig in shit with that. And I guess the early Rollins stuff's fine, but like that once it gets so deep and it becomes like Black Flag / Rollins band getting ready to go off on like these weird tangent, long ass smooth loving jams. You know, it's like I was just stoked not to see it.
The Ron Reyes version of the band is definitely tied for first for me, and may even be. I like Keith Morris and Ron Reyes version of Black Flag the best, but I don't know, it differs depending on my mood, but I would say that really the Ron Reyes version of Black Flag is probably my go-to. I listen to Everything Went Black is probably like the main Black Flag I pull out when I want to get a Black Flag fix.
So I must have bought it in 8th grade going into 9th grade. And so I was like one of the records I had. So I listened to that bitch all 4 sides nonstop. And it was like I forget the guy, it sounds like the Cookie Monster in it. Yeah, he wasn't in my favorites, but the Ron Reyes and fucking Keith Morris, it was like, God, is so fucking good. And to me, that was punk, like that was punk rock, like that music, that sound, like that energy, and like to see that live on the screen was like infectious.
Yeah.
Like it like we were pumped up. I mean, as pumped up as I can possibly be, but Gavin was amped. Almost as amped as finding the rat running down the sidewalk. He was amped about that too. But I was like,
Where
it's
were
fucking
you
Baltimore
guys?
City. Downtown Baltimore City. At the Charles, like we played. Mike Riley had the house like 2 blocks away where we used to play in that basement. I forget what the name of it was, but
I don't recall that place.
oh, you guys played there as Turning Seasons, I think.
Oh, the 666 house? Is that what you're talking about? No, that wasn't Mike Riley's house. I don't know.
As much as he gets under my skin, I agree with everything Rollins says. It just might not need to be said, or he says it and it comes off a little bit more. Well, it doesn't come off more dickish than me, but I have no name behind me. He has the clout and he says it. So I think it does burn people's assholes. But I honestly, I totally get it. I would not want to be in a band stuck and people expecting to hear my greatest hits. I still prefer to be creative. Like performance is part of the creation. And it's not like to go back and just keep recycling hits. Like I don't know how the fucking cock rock bands and fucking people do it. Like how do you go out and play the same fucking slew of songs?
I don't know. I think for me, I don't even disagree with what he's saying in that respect. Like I understand that, I guess there's some integrity, I guess, that he has the integrity to like stick to his guns, that he's not gonna go out and like milk a jukebox set for money. And like I can respect that aspect of it, of his decision. Like, why even say it? Like, we already know you're not playing shows, so like you don't need to even fucking say that. And B, I don't know, it's just sort of like, why be so drastically set in your ways about something? And just like, okay, maybe you don't want to do that, but why have to make such a condemning like fucking diatribe about it? Like, at least like leave things open to like maybe something cool could come along.
Yeah. Well, was it Cyndi Lauper that kind of blew him off the stage doing Rise Above?
Oh, really?
I think there's a clip of him and Cyndi Lauper, and I think she's crushing it. And he's gassed.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't played in a long time. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, and whatever. I think, for him, he's the spoken word thing is what he's turned into doing. And maybe just like playing live just isn't even exciting to him anymore. He'd rather like hear himself talk than like hear himself sing, I guess.
There's a lot of people out there like that.
Yeah. I mean, and like whatever. I'm not trying to make this like a hate on Rollins episode or anything, because I do respect the dude, and I think he does have some cool points about life and stuff. But I don't know, something about that comment just like rubbed me the wrong way. I don't really know exactly why. I'm just like why did you even like need to say that? Like, who fucking cares?
I think that's the point. That's the point, and I guess that's why I was saying it's him being relevant without having to put the miles on the fucking minivan touring around.
Yeah.
Or on the tour bus, he, with that statement, we're talking about him now and not about, I don't know, fucking quicksand playing in fucking Mechanicsburg.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's like he's still relevant, I guess.
Well, I'll say this. After the concert that we went to last night, Rollins should just stay retired from the stage, because there's no way any incarnation of any band he would ever muster up would ever be as cool as the concert I saw last night.
And that was, drum roll, please.
Yes, drum roll. Finally, after many, 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 many years of wanting to see this band and finally getting the opportunity, got to see Depeche Mode last night. And it was fucking awesome. They played for like 2.5 hours, and they sounded really, really fucking good. Those dudes, you can tell, still love to play in their band together because they were having so much fun. And those dudes are not fucking young, and they like move around like with the energy of like a hardcore band. I'm not fucking exaggerating.
So that's kind of why I was laughing, because we went from like the person who is the poster child of anger on stage, to getting his ass kicked by Depeche Mode. Performing.
Yeah, like honestly, there's no fucking concert Rollins could put together that would remotely top Depeche Mode live right now. Like nothing.
I'm trying, got nothing.
No,
I'm hearing what you're saying.
I mean, well, first of all, you have to be a fan of that band, I guess. But then,
I'm down to like 2 songs. Sorry.
Well, it was funny too, because I had like a pretty crazy realization last night as well. I mean, Rammstein actually does a Depeche Mode cover. They cover their song Stripped. And I just was always like, oh, that is like a pretty cool song to cover, especially for Rammstein, because that's sort of like right in their wheelhouse, basically, of like how that song sounds. But it wasn't until last night that I really kind of put 2 and 2 together that pretty much literally Rammstein is heavy metal Depeche Mode. like it's pretty much that's exactly what that band is. They're heavy metal Depeche Mode. But yeah, man, they were fucking cool. I was really excited. I had a really good time finally getting to see them. That was and one of the reasons why I even wanted to bring that up is they played, there was only really like 3 songs they didn't play that I really wanted to hear. And even those were songs that I was like, I'd like to hear them, but if they don't play them, I'll be okay with it. So they really did play everything I actually really wanted to hear.
Right.
But I can't really think of a band that I've wanted to see so much for so long, and then finally saw them, and it just surpassed my expectations by so much that as good as they were, I feel so content that I never need to see them again because they were so fucking awesome.
Why ruin it?
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know if I've ever felt that strongly about any concert I've ever been to, where I was like, that just really checked all the boxes so much. I don't even know if I need to do that ever again.
So where was it at?
It was at the sports arena here, which is one of the oldest like sporting venues where they have like big concerts and stuff.
So
Actually,
it wasn't at your like amphitheater type place.
yeah, I don't know how many people fit in there. It's pretty big though. It's like the San Diego like amateur hockey team plays in there. Um and I'm not sure like what all else used to happen there back in the day, but um the first show I ever saw there when I moved to San Diego, this was probably like 2006, I guess. I saw Judas Priest and Anthrax there. That was the first time I saw Judas Priest was at this sports arena place. Um, but it's like old and it's kind of, it's probably was built in the 60s, I'm guessing, 60s or 70s. And it's just like very fucking outdated. Um,
Right.
but it's cool. But yeah, that place was pretty much close to being sold out.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I think it's cool. It doesn't sound like you're a million miles away from them, nose bleeding.
No, well, we saw Elton John there right before COVID, I think, is when we saw him. And it's also where I saw it was like one of the last four Slayer shows was there. And I was at that show. That was in like 2019, I think. And yeah, so it's like a pretty cool place. There's not a whole lot of bands that play there that we typically go see. So it's usually when, obviously something like Depeche Mode, if they're playing there, that's where we're going to go. But it's kind of one of the more inferior venues to see music in San Diego at this point. But for some reason, some bands just still choose to play there. I guess it just depends on the amount of crowd they get.
Who did they play with? Didn't they play with somebody else?
No, no,
It was
no,
just them.
no openers. They just had kind of like DJ music playing over the sound system before they played.
I thought they toured with somebody else, but that could have been this summer. This could be completely different. So
Yeah, maybe. But we've seen a lot of really cool shows the last month and a half. We saw Devo. So this is like the final Devo tour, his 50-year anniversary or whatever. And I saw Devo like 10 or 12 years ago. And they were really good then, but honestly, I thought they were way better when we saw them like a couple weeks back. They sounded amazing. And it was,
really,
yeah, they probably played about an hour and a half and really played everything you would want to hear. And they did multiple costume changes and the background screen, they had like one of those like LED screens showing a bunch of crazy shit the whole time, which was really cool. But two kind of interesting things happened at that show. So after the show, we're leaving, and the place they played is this new venue that just opened up last year. It's called The Sound, and it's 5 minutes from our house. I think maybe I've talked about it on here before. So anyway, we're walking out of the venue and we're heading out into the parking lot, and this dude comes walking by me with like two other people, and they're just talking and whatever. I'm just like looking around. These people, they kind of were close to us and they passed. And I just like looked over, and it was a fucking bass player of Pearl Jam. And him and like his two buddies he was with, they like walked like right beside us. Like they were like parked right nearby where we were. So it was just kind of funny. I'm like, holy fuck. I like elbowed her and I was like, see that guy right there? And she's like, yeah. I was like, that's the bass player of Pearl Jam. And she's like, no way. Because I think he lives in San Diego.
were they going to see Devo as well?
Yeah, they were at the show. And so we get in the car. We're driving back to the house. And the very first thing that pops in my head for some reason, I'm like, man, I was like, this new venue is so cool. And it's so cool that it's just 5 minutes from our house. And I was like, man, wouldn't that be so awesome if Ween played here? It's like, this would be such a cool place to see them and just like close to the house. And
Right.
like, it would just be so perfect. And dude, I shit you not, I had no idea about this at all. Didn't even remotely see any subconscious imagery or anything. But like 2 days later, it gets announced that they're doing 2 nights there in February.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So like soon as tickets went on sale, we all got tickets. A bunch of us are gonna go for both nights. But I was like, dude, that's fucking crazy. I like totally like willed that into existence.
Is it a small venue? Or is it like what would you compare it to?
I would say like maybe it's about the size of the 930, the new 930 or the new
Right, the
old
Wuss.
930.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It's probably about something like that. Has
That's
like
nice,
an
though.
upper,
That's
has a
awesome.
balcony. It's like all standing room only. There is like a couple bleacher sections in the very back, but you have to pay extra to get those seats. But yeah, it's all just general admission. It's just like giant open floor, and then there's a balcony you can go up.
Oh, that's really cool, though.
Yeah, and it's actually part of the racetrack, the horse track here. So it's where the Del Mar racetrack is. It's the club is like right inside the racetrack.
That is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have anything cool like that.
What else? Oh, we saw the Hives.
Right. I am not familiar with their oeuvre.
Yeah, I know a couple of their songs. I can't pretend to be like a super fan of theirs or anything, but I know a few things. And they're cool. I dig them. And they were playing near the house, and it was like a Monday night. I'm just like, fuck it, let's go to the Hives. Like it might be cool.
I think if I was that close, yeah, I would. That would make. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty lazy. Let's be honest, but
Yeah, but the Hives were awesome. I really enjoyed seeing them live. They were really energetic and they sounded really amazing. And one interesting takeaway from sort of like a musician standpoint from that show is I was convinced that those guys played like tuned down like a step or two because their guitar sounded really, really heavy. And I was just kind of thinking like, well, these guys have been playing for over 20 years now. Like they've probably reached that point in their career where the singer needs to have the guitars down tuned a little bit. And I actually, the next day, got online and was trying to look up to see what they tune their guitars to. And everything
the
I
fact
was,
that information is available is crazy.
I know, right? So like, everything I was finding was that all their songs are in standard tuning. And I was like, there's no fucking way. Like it did not sound like standard tuning to me. And then I don't know, come to find out that like they do play in standard tuning. So then I was like, okay, well if it sounded that fucking heavy, like what amps are they using? And they just use like these old school like 70s Fender tube amps, like those just like Rocket Verb kind of amps or whatever, like those little small like 210 cab things. But dude, they sounded insanely heavy. It was crazy. Like the tone of their guitars, they sounded like a doom metal band or like a stoner rock band, but playing like garage rock punk.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I you know what? Maybe I should give them a listen. Like I'm reading their little synopsis.
Yeah, man, they
And
were
I
cool.
think
Like they were really fun. I'm not sure that they're a band that I would maybe pop them on all the time or anything, just because if I want that type of a fix musically, there's other bands that would be go-tos for me. But yeah, they were cool. I definitely was a fan.
yeah, I don't have any exciting stories for bands. I have failed miserably.
Well, so the one last thing I want to talk about as far as bands,
Fire
because
away.
this is something that I do want to brag about a tiny little bit, because this is something I've been wanting to do for a really, really, really long time. And Trisha got us surprise tickets for Christmas for this show. And this is probably like one of the coolest things she's ever done for like as far as us going to concerts, because she always hears me talking about going to this show every year. And I've just never, for whatever reason, ever pulled the trigger and just like forget about it or whatever. And being the awesome wife that she is, she totally always hears me talking about this. And she was keeping an eye out and got tickets for us for the Vandals Christmas formal.
Oh, that is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
So is that up in LA?
Yeah, it's in Anaheim. It's at the Anaheim House of Blues. It's like where they have it every year. And it's the 28th annual Vandals Christmas formal. And so those of you who don't know what that is, it's every year at Christmas they do this Christmas formal show where they play the Vandals Christmas album in its entirety. So yeah, I'm like
That's
beyond stoked for that.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, we're already like getting like Christmas outfits together and stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
So it's gonna be cool. I'm really excited about that. And the rumor is that Josh Freese is gonna be playing at that show. So because I was maybe thinking he wouldn't probably have time to even do that anymore, but yeah, it sounds like he's gonna be there.
Oh, that's pretty badass.
I was wondering, like I was thinking hypothetically, that would be so cool if when he joined the Foo Fighters, if like he was part of his like agreement. Like you guys can never book a Foo Fighters show the week of Christmas because I have to play the Vandals show.
Dude, yeah. I'm sure he could work it out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, man. So yeah.
Blythe's the one been going to all the crazy shows. She's going, what is it? Cattle decapitation? Is that right?
Oh, who are they playing with?
She went to see them, and I don't know, a bunch of pubic hair logos I can't read.
Pubic hair logos.
Sykes, give that Troy Sykes. He's the one who coined it. Loved it. And I was like, but I was laughing because her videos, the drummer from the Constituents was there.
Okay.
And Blythe was there, and his is like midway back, and hers is like right there up front. She was like, I think she got her, she's like, I got my ass grabbed. But she goes, I toe stomped the guy that did it. And then she's like, I got kicked in the back, hit in the head. But she had a blast.
This is news to me. I didn't know she was going to like metal and hardcore shows.
She is I think she is a mini Zach. She loves going to see live performances. Like, it doesn't matter.
So that's pretty much like me at this point. Like, I just love to go see live music. I don't even give a shit really who it is.
Yeah, and she's met some kids at school that listen to like that. So
cool.
They all went together, I think, and she had a blast, except for getting ass fondled and getting kicked in the back.
Yeah.
But it was just funny is her video, she's like right there, and then his video is like midway back, and I was like, little girl just schooled you. She toughed it out and got up front.
That's cool. Yeah. Actually, it's funny that we're talking about her because I thought about her like I said, I don't know. I can't think of all the things I've done that I wanted to talk about on here since the last time I was on, because I don't remember when it was. It's been a while ago now, I feel like. But
well, you said you had a fucking list of grievances.
Well, so I'm pretty certain that since I was on here last, I don't think I think I talked about the fact that I was going to see Death Clock, but I don't think I've talked about being at the show.
No, you have not.
So I thought about
some awesome t-shirts
of Death Clock.
Yeah.
Oh, the ones I made.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So I made these custom t-shirts for us to wear at the show based on stuff from the TV show. And we were extremely disappointed that no one at the show commented on our shirts. We felt very let down. Because we thought it was gonna be one of those things where we'd have like just people stopping us constantly wanting like their picture taken with us and stuff because of our shirts. But it did not happen. But the reason why I thought about Blythe is because Baby Metal played that show with Death Clock. So that was like my first time seeing any type of like a J-pop type band. Right. And I feel like I still don't really know exactly how to feel about that band. Like
Dude,
they're
that is
cool.
exactly what you said to me when I played it for you the first fucking time here.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know how to feel about that.
And after seeing them, I'm kind of the same way. It's like I respect the choreography and the aspect of the live show. And honestly, the music isn't like horrible, but I don't, it's just not for me, I think. Like I respect it. And if it happens to be playing in a car I'm in one day that I don't have control over the radio, like I'm not going to be bummed about it, but I don't think it's something I'm going to like get into really.
Besides the first album, I can't listen to it because it mellowed out to a point where I was like what I liked about it and the juxtaposition between the two styles
Okay.
was like at the extreme ends, where I thought that like the newer songs felt kind of a little bit more like not pulled together, but like the music felt a little bit less aggressive, and the vocal, they kind of blended a little bit more smoothly together.
Mhm.
Where I think like the first album, it was like, to me, was perfect because it was as extreme as you could go left or right and have everything work, where it feels like they kind of tapered in a little bit.
Speaking of extremes with that band, those gals have some extreme cardio, let me tell you. Because they did not fucking stop moving and singing like the entire show, except for the 10-second breaks between songs, pretty much.
That is phenomenal. I think it'd be an interesting show.
Yeah, it was like it. I would never go to see them specifically by themselves ever again. But if they happen to be playing with other bands I'm going to see, I would like make it a point to like go check them out for a couple
Make
songs.
sure you were there in time to see them, or
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a. I hear you. I hear you. That's funny though. That's awesome. You got to see them. I think
Yeah, it
that
was
would be
interesting.
Yeah, I would. That's exactly what I would. But I almost think that the novelty would wear off like 3 or 4 songs in. It'd be like, joke's over.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you would think that for us probably, but believe me, there was plenty of people there that were like, who the fuck is Death Clock? Like they were there to see Baby Metal.
Oh, I believe it. I totally believe it.
Yeah, just like that's definitely like that whole scene is like a thing.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you're not. Fuck, dude, you're not telling me.
Yeah. Like I seriously, like I even told Trisha, I was like, we were just when we're like, where's all the fucking metalheads? It was like all these like young kids and like dressed like a weird like version of like Insane Clown Posse went goth or something. It was like, what's going on? It's like there's like we're all the heavy metal headbanger people, and we're like, oh well. So, and what we figured out is we saw the final night of the tour, and it was like a co-headlining thing. So the night before they played the same venue, but Death Clock headlined and played like an hour and a half set, and we saw them on the night when Baby Metal headlined, and Death Clock only played an hour. So we got
Oh,
shorted like 3 or 4 songs. So I think maybe the night before was probably more like headbanger people were there probably.
you
Um
hope.
yeah. And whatever. It was like it didn't matter. It was still super fun, and they were fucking killer, dude. They had the sickest screen behind them that was playing. So like all the songs that they play have connection to parts of the show, like every episode of the show. So when they ordered the set list where basically like it was like you were watching the whole series from like front to back almost.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So they like pulled out the like main cool clips from like all the like battle scenes and just like crazy shit that happens. And then in between songs, they would like the screens would be like showing other little clips from the show. But what's cool is the singer of Death Clock, who also plays guitar, he voices like 3 of the characters. So in between songs, they'd have the lights go down so you couldn't see them, and then he would do the voices.
Oh, that's funny.
So like he'd be like, like hey, where are we or whatever, like me talking about the venue and stuff. So that was really cool. Yeah, it was.
That is badass. Yeah, I think you were getting ready to go when the last time you were on.
Yeah.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, it was a
I
lot
think
of
I would
fun.
like to see Baby Metal. I mean, the more I think about it, I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I think if you guys, if she wants to go, or if,
Oh my god, if they come over, yeah, she'll want to go.
yeah, I think you should go with her. I think if nothing else, then you could talk to me about it, and like you would understand.
So, what size was that venue? Was it a big one, or is it about the same size as the
No,
one?
it was big. It's me 5,000 people, maybe 10,000. I'm not really good at like guessing crowd sizes, but it's the YouTube Theater in Los Angeles.
Uh-huh.
It's actually like a little small, well, small compared to the stadium it is, but it's a music venue that is actually inside the same complex as where the Rams play
Oh
at,
shit.
at like that new Rams stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you actually like walk through kind of like in by like where the football team plays and kind of walk around this little area, and then the venue's like right outside. We also saw this band that we've been wanting to see for a while. It's a 70s and 80s yacht rock cover band called Yachtly Crew.
Oh shit.
But yeah, they're fucking awesome, and you know they play all kinds of shit, you know, like Jimmy Buffett, Steely Dan, and like that kind of shit. But they were cool, and they all dress like they basically look like a bunch of dudes on the Love Boat.
That is horrible.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. That I feel like that band's like right up your alley, actually.
It probably is because I'm old and I don't like anything new. Yeah, it probably is. Don't tell anybody though. So Amanda sent me the tour this year. She is eyeing up, and I'm already getting hints. Is it's Journey and Def Leppard,
Mm,
and
nice.
then you have your not choice alternating openers of Cheap Trick, Heart, or fucking Steve Miller.
Oh, damn.
But of course, I was like, I would be
That's
all
tough.
in. But who would be your preferred opener?
And that's what I was just saying. That's tough. I don't know. I'd really have to think on that.
Because the headliners stay the same, but the openers fucking change out.
And it was Heart, Cheap Trick, Steve Miller Band. Whew, man. I I like all those bands, so I don't know. I feel like I'm initially inclined to pick Cheap Trick,
That's who I
but
wanted to see.
Heart would be badass too, and Steve Miller Band would be badass too. I don't know. I think I'd go with Cheap Trick just because I think I would know more of the material.
I agree. Sadly, I think the show, like our local show, is Steve Miller. I don't know. I'm heartbroken. Not really heartbroken, as heartbroken as one can be, but I'm just sad because I would much rather. Like I thought we were going to get all five, and I was like, "Ooh!" I was like, "I can go stand in merch line for Amanda for a couple bands," but no, you only get one of the three. In Cheap Trick, it was
Is it
like,
like a summer tour thing?
yeah, it's a summer tour.
Hmm.
I mean, but Journey would be I think it would be cool just because that dude fucking kills it.
I was gonna say Scab Journey, but yeah,
Yeah, well, I
he's
can't
still
think of
good.
it. Dude, he's good. I mean, he fucking kills it. But sad that Cheap Trick might not be open. Well, I know they're not open. Like, how the fuck do they choose that? What is that, a fucking coin flip? We're not going to Des Moines, or somebody's banned from Des Moines.
Yeah, that's some like weird marketing ploy. I don't understand that. It's kind of like
Oh,
maybe they think that because of doing that, people will go to multiple shows, I guess.
maybe because I was actually trying to figure out, like, I'd be okay with driving to Pittsburgh if I knew Cheap Trick was going to play over top of. Like Steve Miller to me was C, was the
Yeah.
out of the three. They were not that I don't hate them.
Yeah, that would
I
be
mean
my C as well.
but that was my C. Like it was like Cheap Trick, Heart. I mean, I like Heart, but then I want early set or 70s Heart, not 80s Heart. I don't want to get like the power ballads and shit. I want to get Barracuda.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want. Not saying they wouldn't play them all, but like I want one set. I don't really want the other. And like Cheap Trick, I just like I like them. I like their catalog a lot better. Like I'm okay with them. But so I was like looking, but I think they're all like Midwest and West Coast. I don't think there was any Cheap Trick like close to us.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. You should definitely go to that, no matter who the opener is.
Amanda, don't listen.
That'd be fun. I mean, I love Journey, and I've been torn about whether to go see them with the Scab guy, but I mean, he is really good, and I mean, I guess that's as good as it's gonna get at this point, because I don't think Steve Perry's ever coming back at this point. So I think it's like, if I do ever want to see him, it's just gonna have to be with that guy.
Dude, I've watched videos of them where somebody's taken live videos and cut from Steve Perry to I can't think of his name, and I don't want to disrespect him by making up something.
Arnell, I think is his name.
Arnell, there you go. I think you're actually right.
Yeah.
But like going back and forth between them, and it is so fucking crazy how much he sounds like Steve Perry.
Yeah, I mean, it's exact pretty much. I mean, and I'm not even hating on that dude at all. Like, I
know.
I want to see Steve Perry Journey personally, but that's just more of because the nostalgia element of it and stuff. But I mean, that dude can sing those fucking songs. I mean, really, honestly, I would not even be surprised if that dude probably sings the songs better than Steve Perry can sing them now. So
yeah.
I mean, that's just speculation, but I mean, that homie's voice has to be kind of blown out a little bit at this point. I mean, those dudes are like they're probably close to 70 at least.
Yeah, dude. I don't think they're too young.
No, not at all. This is kind of completely off topic, but I wanted to bring this up just because it's really funny. So I got a text from my dad a couple days ago, and my dad's he's not a very like proficient texter. He's just kind of like you get like one word answers from him and just
Oh, I thought you were gonna say he's like Matt Powell and texts like he's on his fucking 1949 Nokia.
oh yeah, no, but he'll just be like hey, and I'll just be like hey, and he'll just be like call me or what, like whatever. He like does not converse through text. And
Right.
10 o'clock at night, for my time, 10 o'clock at night, so it's 1 o'clock in Maryland. So I'm like, well, hey, like, what the fuck's he even doing awake? Because he never stays up that late. So I don't know what that was all about. But this text comes through, and it's a thumbnail. It's like a screen grab thumbnail picture of the Gorilla Biscuits 7-inch cover. And I'm like, and I didn't even respond to the text because I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Honestly, I thought like someone like hacked his phone or like somehow something, because it's like, this makes no sense. So the next day I called him and I was like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, nothing. He's like, did you get that text I sent you last night? I was like, yeah, that's why I was calling you. I was like, why? I was like, I'm so confused. I was like, hey, what do you like? How do you even know about the Gorilla Biscuits? Like, did you know that was a band? Like what the fuck? Like, how did you know to send me that? And he just started laughing. And I'm like, what? I was like, how do you know about the Gorilla Biscuits? And apparently, I don't remember this at all. Maybe you remember this? Maybe, I don't know who did this, but sometime back in the day, it was either me or someone in Bomb Threat, or I don't know who else would have done it, but someone apparently spray painted Gorilla Biscuits on the side of one of the sheds on the farm. And apparently it's like big, and I don't remember that at all. And I think he saw it again for the first time in like a really long time. And he's like, I saw that. He's like, I remembered, like, he's like, one of you fuckers spray painted Gorilla Biscuits on the side of the barn. And he's like, I just like Google searched what that even was. And he's like, that picture came up. So then he was like, this is where it got even funnier though. Cause he's like, which one of you fuckers did that? And I was like, honestly, I don't even remember. I was like, it may have been me. I was like, but I was like, there was a lot of people graffitiing back then. So I was like, there's lots of people that maybe came out and did that. I don't know. And he's like, well, do you have that 7-inch single, that 45 single of theirs? I was like, what? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I was like researching them. He's like, that 7-inch is worth a lot of fucking money. And I was like, yeah. I was like, actually, I do have that record. He's like, do you really? I'm like, he's like, you're fucking lying. I was like, no, I swear to God, I have that record. He's like, no shit. He's like, do you really have that? He's like, you know, that thing's worth like $200 fucking dollars. And I was like, is it? I was like, honestly, I was like, I looked at that thing like a decade ago and I think it was like 100 or something. He's like, yeah. He's like, why you still have that thing? He's like, fucking sell that shit.
Oh my God. That's funny.
I was like, how? That's like a conversation I never expected to have in my entire life, is talking about like record appreciation prices of Gorilla Biscuits with my dad. Yeah,
Look,
that's
there's a site on, there was a link on eBay for a fucking record that hadn't come out yet. They were already selling it and they were upselling it. Like it was $40 to buy. And like I saw it for like 400 on fucking eBay.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was fucking ridiculous.
And it hadn't even come out yet.
No, I'm still waiting on mine.
Wow.
I'm fucking still, it's ridiculous. There are people, I guess, I don't know how it goes.
That's
Vinyl's
crazy.
evil. I hate it now. I mean, it's cool.
There's the Pokemon Santa Cruz skateboards. Have you seen those?
No.
So they did, you know, because whatever, Santa Cruz is always doing like off-brand shit, like the
Collabs,
Star
yeah.
Wars and all that stuff. Well, they did this line of Pokemon decks, and when you would buy the decks in the skate shop, they were covered with like a cellophane, so you couldn't actually see. You know, it was like a wild card board, basically. Like you didn't know what you were getting. And
So fucking crazy.
apparently those boards are selling like crazy expensive. Like there's a couple on eBay right now that are going for like between like $7,000 and $10,000 for a skate
What?
deck. Yeah, just because it's like
What?
Pokemon associated.
Oh my God. I saw the fucking Zero did new Misfits decks, but fucking hell.
That's crazy,
they're-
right?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Fuck. Yeah, that blows my fucking mind.
Yeah, like who is into Pokemon that much that they can spend like 10 grand on a skateboard deck?
Dude, because those fucking cards are expensive.
I don't really know anything about it at all.
Like there's a show on Netflix, and the guy they were football, baseball card dealers, and they were branching out, and like the money they were pulling off of fucking Pokemon cards is ridiculous. Like they have pack reveals, like sit down and go through the packs to see what they get, because I know there's only X amount available, and like so they'll sit and like open up cases and do deck reveal looking for fucking cards. It's nuts.
I don't really know anything
it's a
about
game.
Pokemon. I was going to ask, it is a game, right?
Yes, I believe.
Okay, so there's a
yeah.
collecting side of it that's like separate from the game itself. Okay.
Yeah, it's just rare cards. They only do so many. So you look up, like people write in, school us, but I know there's a game, and that's what you do with the cards. But yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. That's what I got for you.
Interesting.
Party people at the house, I'm just giving the hands up. I don't fucking get it. Heartbroken that people can spend that kind of fucking cash on weird shit.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, you just think about like what a skateboard deck actually is.
Yeah.
And like, they cost probably $20 to make them, to manufacture them.
In quantity, probably 10, but yeah.
Yeah. And, so the company itself selling them for what, decks are like $70 now or something. And which is crazy to think about. That is one thing. Skateboard decks actually did not go up in price for a really, 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 really long time. So people, I saw a lot of things online lately about people complaining about the price of decks, but I'm like, dude, decks were like $50 for like 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is true. And for all you people that bitch about that buying the decks, the fucking, unless you're like, if you buy one from a skate shop and you're getting what you feel is a good deal on it, you probably are, because the skate shop will make no money off of those fucking decks.
Yeah.
Like the deck, you couldn't mark them up. Like you sold just above at the skate shop. We sold shit just above cost because it was like $3 or $4 where you could, double the price on like bearings or something like that, like wholesale versus retail. The fucking decks, you couldn't do it because we were paying. I swear to God, if we weren't paying 40, we were paying 45 to get them in the shop and then sell them for 50, 55 because you had to sell them so low because nobody was going to fucking buy them if you marked them up to like a retail price. They were just one of those things. It was like, I'm guessing people finally, dealers were like, fuck, we've got to start charging a little bit.
Well, like skate decks are essentially the equivalent of physical media at this point. It's like you have to have it, but it's not necessarily the biggest seller in the revenue stream.
Yeah, it's not. It's basically to get you in so you can buy accessories.
Yeah.
It's like going to buy a fucking phone. They want you to buy the case and fucking everything else there because they're not making a fucking thing off of. Oh, this is funny. Into my daughter just sent me the tour dates for Guar and the ex-cops cancer bats. Huh?
No, I know. There's still no California dates for these tours. It's pissing me off because like if I don't get to see fucking ex-cops, I'm gonna be really fucking agitated. Honestly, I want to see ex-cops more than I want to see Guar at this point.
Yeah, you're right. There are no West Coast fucking dates.
No, there isn't. God. I know. I just saw that shit pop up the other day, and I was like, still no fucking California dates, motherfuckers.
I wanted to see fucking. I don't know who the fuck the cancer bats are.
I've heard of them. I don't know anything about them though.
They played with. I wanted to see. Was it not Cancer Slug? Oh my god, I can't think of them. It was fuck, was it Cancer Christ? There's a lot of cancer bands out there. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, what's Holy up with shit.
That? I'm trademarking cancer so nobody can use it.
Well, there is an actual band from the 80s just called Cancer.
Trademark right here, Cancer, owned by Curtis Taylor. I'm fucking nobody else. I'm gonna start lawsuits.
I think the original band probably already has that trademark, but so they can like sue people that get sick.
Yeah, exactly. You cannot say that you have that.
Yeah, you have to call it something different. I want to wrap up actually, but the first thing I want to say.
Well, if you got a bunch of them.
No, I don't have a bunch. There's just one last thing I want to say.
Okay.
Is I want to give thanks to Chris Elliott for the character he played in Scary Movie 2. Because that is one of the fucking funniest characters ever. And that never gets old. And I just watched Scary Movie 2 a couple of weeks back for the first time in a while. And his character in that it's insane. I piss myself laughing every time I watch that, where he fucking stirs the mashed potatoes and is like serving the food and stuff. It's fucking awesome. So anyway,
is fucking awesome on, oh shit, the Eugene Levy show, Schitt's Creek.
I haven't seen that ever.
Dude, he is fucking amazing. That dude's funny. I don't give a fuck. He makes me laugh.
Yeah. I kind of looked him up a little bit just to see what he's been doing lately. And I guess he's always been a writer for a bunch of shows and stuff, but it seems like that's what he focuses most of his time on. He just like writes for shit. But yeah, dude, that Scary Movie character he plays, man, that's just one of the top tier comedy like characters in all of movies. In my opinion, anyway. I just find that fucking hilarious.
Dude, I'm gonna have to. I'm looking up to see what else he's been in, but I can do that on my time, not everybody else's time.
The last thing I want to say before we go is POTTYCAST podcast.
Dude, how awesome is that?
Yeah.
I use that on the end of the fucking Ghosty podcast because I thought it was so. It's the double TY. You're singing version 1. You gotta do the POTTY.
Oh, double T. That's right. I forgot about that version.
Oh my god, dude. It makes me fucking happy.
Just keeping it OG.
Hell yeah.
Well, cool. Well, that was fun. It felt good to be back. And
hell's yes.
Like I said, I enjoy listening to these as much as I enjoy doing them. So I don't know. I feel like there's a part of me that might like kind of bow out of them every couple weeks just to like have those guys on because I like to listen to you guys. So
yeah, well, why don't you guys do it and I get to bow out? That would be awesome. So I could actually listen to a fucking podcast without cringing.
I guess we could do that.
Where's the love? Where is the love?
But yeah, it was fun to get back into doing the podcast tonight and to chit chat and hopefully do it again real soon.
Woohoo! Party on.
Later.
Ooh.
Hey, hold on. We never said what episode this is.
Oh. It's 66.
Ooh, get your
welcome
kicks.
to episode 66. Woohoo! Fuck.
This podcast was brought to you by Potty Mouth Records. Contact us at pottymouthrecords@gmail.com and find us on the web at pottymouthrecords.rocks. That's .ROCKS.
That was way better than I expected.
POTTYCAST podcast.